Hello, and I'm so glad that you are willing to meet with me before school starts. I think it's really important that we're on the same page, not only for the deaf child, but for all the children in the classroom. With this conversation, I'm hoping that we can agree on an effective plan of action. One of my main concerns is that I want the deaf child to be able to have as much access to the classroom as possible, and to assist in the cognitive development of that child. This won't be as easy of a task as you might think. It will also add some difficulty in the fact that this child might not have the linguistic capabilities that is similar to the other children. There are things that we can do as a team to provide the child with proper access to the lesson plan, class participation, and all of that will help improve the cognitive development of this child. Things that I'm going to do that I think will help is, while I'm interpreting your lesson, I'll also need to interpret side comments and kind of convey, the manner in which they come from. For instance, I'll need to show who is making the comment and obviously what they're saying and how they're saying it. By doing this, it will help the child have a better understanding of how each person's mind is different, and from everybody, which I believe in turn will help with the development of the theory of mind. Also, in order to do this more effectively, it will help, if you're able to maybe keep the children from shouting out answers, or maybe just have them raise their hands and be called on to respond. Another thing that is very important is to encourage peer involvement. And just by my presence, it tends to make the other children feel a bit uncomfortable. But one thing that I think might help is if maybe the first day of class we can do like a brief introduction of me, and I can kind of give a short explanation of what I do and maybe answer some questions. This might help the children so that they won't be as distracted by me and wondering what I'm doing. This will also make them feel a little bit more comfortable around the deaf child, because they'll have a better understanding of the process. I know these are younger children, so I'm not going to go into detail, but I think it would help to just touch on a few things and ease the curiosity of the children a bit. Things that you can do to help me in this process is maybe you can give me the topic of your lesson plan ahead of time. That way I can prepare some of my thought process and how I might go about certain things. The other idea I had was that if you're going to have some visual aids, maybe I give one for me so that I can get closer to the deaf child, or we can make copies for all the students or certain groups, give copies to groups. This will help lessen the strain of the deaf student, and instead of having to be so overwhelmed with looking several different places, and it might ease maybe some frustration. The last thing that I wanted to point out is that this child's parents have recently started taking American Sign Language classes, I think for only about a year. So I'm really not sure what the linguistic skills of this child are. At times, I might need to explain concepts more in depth than you would have to, so that the child will understand. And I also want you to understand that in order for me to interpret the message, I will be behind what you are saying. And so if you're asking questions or whatnot, I would appreciate it if you would give a little extra time before you call on a child to answer the question, so that maybe the student I'm interpreting for will have a chance to answer as well. I think that's about it. Thanks again so much for meeting with me, and I think that if we can work together, we will have a really successful school year for this student.